honored members of jury, fellow teachers, and dear students, welcome to the Special English Days. This event consists of matches of debate as well as public speaking presentations. Speech is power. It takes courage to stand up and speak, and it takes courage to sit down and listen.
The debate is secondary school students should be able to choose what they learn in school.
Our arguments are based on the following keywords: independence, real-life experience, and success. We are analyzing this case from the point of view of a student's perception over life. My name is Sophie.
Good morning that remained unrebutted and present the conclusion. Before we come to our actual argumentation, let us define some important terms in this debate, such as prefrontal cortex, cognitive development, and humanities. The prefrontal...
First of all, choosing your own classes can be very exciting. It allows students to take ownership of their education, pursue their passions, and develop valuable skills.
However, the world is constantly changing. Over time, new jobs appear and old ones demand new skills. Studies show that 40% of today's jobs will be replaced by AI. Therefore, if students select some subjects with a certain job in mind, after a few years, all they've learned could become irrelevant. For instance,
by giving them a choice, we can change that and make them understand the importance of doing something they really like and fully prepare them to face any obstacle they may encounter in the future. So, go forth and craft your educational path. The possibilities are endless.
Now, to return to our case, we, the opposition, state that secondary school students shouldn't choose their own subjects because, firstly, they are too young to know what they want in life, and they cannot fully comprehend the importance of such a major decision.
The jury decided that 7C wins the argument.
Is, do exam results alone determine a student's worth?
Also, according to Forbes, exam results can be a better prediction of academic success than other known measures, such as IQ.
What counts is what the student will be left with after having completed formal education. Besides, students have many other qualities that cannot be measured by exam results, for instance, empathy and critical thinking skills. These also play a great part in determining one's worth.
It is common knowledge that a lot of companies from different fields recruit students from universities based on the exam results that they get at the admission to the faculty, which shows that the student's worth is reflected in their marks and their exam results. Those marks.
Secondly, stress and other external factors, which include anxiety, depression, and other similar mental afflictions, affect the students' exam grades. Because of the short period of time in which all finals are crammed into, if, for example, a personal tragedy occurs, it will certainly affect the student's academic performance.
It is important not to forget that these results are all indicators of a student's certain traits that can influence the perception of their worth and of themselves. The antagonization of exam results is a real, ongoing process, but that is full of errors and misinformation. Exam results were crafted to measure knowledge, not a person's worth, or not a person's traits such as empathy or creative writing.
argument that there's a certain level of subjectivity when it comes to grading exams. This can be especially noticed in some subjects more than others, such as philosophy or language studies. This means that marks received in these exams are also subjective, different teachers being able to offer different grades based on their personal beliefs and opinions. Furthermore,
Decizia juriului este următoarea. 8A 239 de puncte, 8C 255 de puncte. 8C este câștigătorul. Felicitări!
The topic of the public speaking contest is, if I had a superpower.
If I ever got the chance to have any superpower, it would undoubtedly be super speed. Imagine being able to move at incredible speeds, faster than the eye can see. It would be an extraordinary superpower that would transform my life and the lives of those around me. My superhuman ability would make me an unstoppable force, and I could inspire those around me to push to their limits and achieve great things.
If I ever got the chance to have a superpower, I would probably choose Hulk strength. First of all, with Hulk strength, I could fight villains better. I could protect myself or other people. Let's say the most fragile person in my family is my grandmother. She could really use my help because she lives in the countryside and has to carry woods to make fire in the house. Having me around would be such a relief. To sum it all up, as I grew up, I've come to realize that my dream for having a superpower has been kept unchanged, but the reasons for wanting it have changed considerably. Being kind is a superpower. Being different is a superpower. Making a difference in someone's life is a superpower, or just being different.
Conclusion that the best superpower for me would be the power of undoing. And I know what most of you are thinking right now. What does he mean by undo? Well, you know that computer button with a backwards arrow? The button that takes you back to the last stage of your work? It's exactly that, but in real life. With this superpower, I could stop some of the most urgent problems of mankind: pollution and global warming. I could simply undo the tons and tons of unrecycled plastic, turning them into the raw materials they were made from, and undo the snags of all the cut trees, turning them into strong, towering trees again.
So, what would my ideal superpower be? Well, it's simple. Everything I draw and write comes to life. My superpower doesn't only work to get you things, it also works to heal you. Do you have a broken leg, the flu, a cold, anything you can imagine? Well, if you pop out the notebook and write down healthy, you'll be good as new.
But now that I think about it, superpowers aren't actually about the ones that are depicted in fairy tales or movies. Actually, the greatest of superpowers are the ones we underestimate the most. Let's take, for example, being a great listener. We all have those people we tell everything, right? Well, even if we don't realize it yet, the thing we need the most when we're downhearted is somebody who cares enough to listen to us. Being able to console somebody is another great superpower. With just a few words like, "I'm here for you," or "It's going to be okay," together with an affable smile and a pat on the shoulder or a warm hug, these superheroes can cast even the darkest of clouds away. Waking up every day and saying, "I'm going to try my best today," is very useful and a very great superpower. Because when you're doing your best, not giving up or starting over, you will not only feel positive and zestful, but you're also going to make other people look up to you and get inspired by you.
That if I had a superpower, I would like that every song I sing could become reality. Just imagine this little song I wrote. When I go to school, I eat macaroons, I get straight A's, and listen to my favorite tunes. How wonderful would that be if it happened to me? With the help of my superpower choice and my amazing voice, I could stop wars, I could stop world hunger, and I could give every child that has ever been abandoned a nice, a protective family and a loving one.
So the superpower that I chose to have, it's everything I wish for comes true. Imagine all of the possible things you could do. You could get straight A's in class, you could pass every single exam, you could have multiple superpowers, or you could meet your favorite celebrity. So the only way you could be healthy, fit, and eat your favorite food, which is obviously junk food, it's by saying, I wish I'd have a healthier diet, love more healthy food, but also have cheat days where, of course, I'd eat my favorite food.
But have you ever heard of the superpower saving the world from pollution? That's what I'm going to talk about today. By trying to give a little bit of help to the world, such as recycling the plastic you use in a whole week, or every time you throw the garbage, make sure that you throw it into the right trash can. Did you know that the most used resource in the world is water? Maybe you've known, but have you ever heard that for a t-shirt and a pair of jeans I use 10,000 liters of water? Now you can see how for an only pair of jeans can make a whole world suffer. And in 2024, almost 4 billion people do not have access to bottled water. In Israel, because of the crisis of drinking water, they actually made a system that transforms salty water into a perfect drinking one. That's so interesting. In this way, we will not have to suffer because of bottled water.
What about teleporting? I've made some online researches based on this superpower, and it doesn't seem to have any downsides. Let me tell you why I chose this one. On one hand, this superpower can help you escape from uncomfortable situations. Instead of calling your best friend for help, or even staying there in pain and suffer, you could just, open a portal and bye-bye. On the other hand, this power can help you save your life if you're trapped in a lion's cage in the middle of a natural disaster, or even in a fight with your mother.
Why is flying the best superpower of them all? My talk today depicts two different points of view. At a moment or another, we all dreamt that we were flying, right? What if we could all fly? Wouldn't it be world-changing? Think about how much pollution we could reduce. Flying would reduce the consumption of fuel, which leads to less traffic jams, less roads, and therefore more space for nature. On another hand, flying may help rescuing people too. Lately, unfortunately, there have been numerous natural disasters, such as the avalanches in the Alps, the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, where many people wait to be rescued. Flying without gadgets means less time to get to the injured and easy access to remote locations.
And if I was that lucky to get a superpower, I would probably like it to be the one having wings to fly. With this superpower, you can save people. Saving other creatures' lives would be an add. As helpful this superpower could be, as dangerous it is. First, you need to handle the movement with the wings very accurately before actually saving lives. Second, you need to keep your super identity secret, as in superhero films. At the same time, you must also consider the potential consequences that come from someone possessing the ability to fly. In a world of rising global tensions, an individual with such power may pose a serious threat to any innocent bystanders and become a target for the military of the most powerful nations.
If I had a superpower, it would be flying. And you may say that flying is not such an interesting superpower and it's rather boring. But for me, it isn't like that. For me, the word flying is like seeing everything from above. From understanding how birds fly and visiting new places and learning about their culture. Flying may help you learn geography and maybe even history. You can have fun with your friends in ways you never had before. But some people have disabilities or are unable to walk. And it makes it really hard for them to travel around the world and see how beautiful it is. It's even hard for them to move around their own house. So this superpower would really make their life easier. But
the moment you all been waiting for. First place goes to Andrei Alexandru and Bogdan Măreșoiu. Congratulations, kids. You are amazing, amazing, amazing. Congratulations to everyone that participated in this great event today. Thank you very much.
The World Health Organization defines life skills as a group of psychosocial competencies and interpersonal skills that help people make informed decisions, solve problems, think critically and creatively, communicate effectively, build healthy relationships, empathize with others, and cope with and manage their lives in a healthy and responsible manner. Now, let us
Opposition. The motion for today is schools should teach life skills, and we do not agree with this statement. Today, I will talk about how this could be a burden to already overburdened teachers and about the fact that schools are unprepared for this change. Our second
It is only at school that children have the possibility to learn from well-prepared professionals that could lead them the right way, considering the fact that not all parents have the necessary life knowledge themselves.
So, these abilities are designed to be learned independently through personal experiences. Subsequently, it leads to a deeper comprehension of them, and in the process, the development of a new skill called self-awareness. This is further supported by the expression School of Life.
But some things cannot be learned from experience, and they must be taught, like knowing how to give CPR, how to properly invest, or when they should have their first relationship. You shouldn't experience how to do CPR or risk the life of a person just because you found a class about CPR boring.
Teaching life skills in schools may divert valuable instructional time from subjects that may be covered in core academic standards. As we've stated before, one's definition of life skills and experiences greatly differs from one individual to another, whether that's creativity, socializing, communication, stress management, or even critical thinking.
The jury made its decision. It was a very tight decision, and the winners are 7B. You had very good arguments, all of you.
The debate is, does the educational system kill creativity? Grade 8.
To quote Pablo Picasso, every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up. Sir Ken Robinson, a British university professor, also agrees with this statement, adding that one is educated out of being an artist. This reflects that, as kids get older, they are expected to think more logically and brush their creativity aside, since schools don't find it as important as being rational. Second,
the power of knowledge lies in its ability to provide us with the tools to create. Knowledge empowers us by providing insight into how things work and what can be done. When we understand something, it becomes much more easier for our creativity to flow, to swim, and to ascend. Something
What I'm trying to demonstrate is that one of the main flaws of the Romanian education student is that it kills the students' creativity by not only not having enough resources for the children to enjoy the visual art, but also by having a rigid curriculum which leaves the children exhausted and also makes them develop the fear of failure.
And I think historically, the confluence of STEM knowledge and creative thinking skills has historically been the driving force behind numerous inventions and discoveries of prodigious consequence. Again, to reinforce that creativity is an all-pervading trait, and it's not relegated solely to arts. And I think it's very important to acknowledge that. Also,
third of all, it is a privilege for us to have such activities, and not everybody around the world can access them, as well as there being a very big lack of funding for competent teachers and materials for these events, which was especially visible, for example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in the rural area. Thank you.
Creativity is an all-pervading trait found across all school subjects, meaning that everything that is taught in school has a creative side, which students can tap into and innovate in said domain, which can be anywhere from innovation, art form, new technology, and more. Schools offer their students an environment where they can come into contact with several different concepts from multiple students, teachers, and in some cases guest speakers, which schools invite over so that they can share their experiences through the different paths of life. In conclusion,
and according to the verdict we have reached, the winners are participants from class 8B. Congratulations.
Felicitări ambelor echipe, profesorilor, antrenori, celor care au găsit aceste teme provocatoare și succes în tot ceea ce faceți.
About a peculiar yet interesting subject, and that is, if I were to lose a sense, which one would it be? After this analysis, I came to the conclusion that I could lose any of these senses because I could adapt, because that's what we do, because that's what humans do. I don't believe, no. I know that being blind didn't come with the early 19th century, no. It's since prehistorical times, but we adapted. We overcame. That's why we still roam Earth. That's why all of you are in this hall right here, right now, alive.
And in her warm embrace, I felt that hug as a confession of friendship, and I realized I could not let one day go by without feeling that. And so I could never ever give up touch because I would lose these signs of friendship toward my friends and family. And I tasted it and I was like, wow, this tastes just like Mr. Proper. We both laughed, but it really did. And I realized I never actually tasted Mr. Proper, but I could imagine what it tastes like his ice cream. And so therefore, if I was able to imagine such a scent like detergent, it would be very easy for me to imagine other tastes I have already experienced. And if I would choose to give up on taste, well, all of the tastes I feel every day would be very easy to imagine for me. And so in the end, I would choose to give up on taste.
First, because I went to my mother, and she said she would give up touching. Why? Well, dear audience, she said she would use feelings from the inside. Feelings would be her compass to guide her when she would need to touch, to feel something, rather than her skin or her body or her fingers. It is only with the heart that one can feel what is right and discover what is essential, my mother added. I have to admit, I did not see this answer coming. I was left kind of dumbstruck, but I started to see that sometimes less is more. Next, I think I can do without any sense as long as there is love around me, as long as I have common sense. If a man has common sense, he has all the sense there is. Thank you.
How so many people live without this sense daily and they don't even realize it. They are so caught up to what they're doing, they don't even pay attention anymore to the different textures or even their pet's fur. So, to end my speech, I would like to say that I love all my senses and I treasure them. But if I had to, this is my
this is the most plausible answer for me. Thank you.
Well, that leaves us with smell. I personally think smell is the most useless sense out of all of them. Now, I'm not saying it's completely useless. I'm just saying it's the least useful. I actually even think you can benefit from this choice because you won't have to smell all the atrocious smells that can appear in this world. I don't think my speech has a real life lesson, but I think I can create a conclusion of my own. Try not to meet the guy that forced me to give up a sense. Thank you.
Or what if teacher couldn't hear? How could she be able to tell us when we are right or wrong when using present perfect simple? The point I'm trying to make is that without hearing, many people in the world couldn't do what they enjoy doing the most, even though it ranges from listening to music up to teaching. I bet that one of you is going to come up here and tell me, Mary, but you know, it was scientifically proven that if you're blind, your hearing is better and the other way around. Yes, I know that, and I think that's a great and solid argument. But at the same time, I believe that it would take so much time for me to learn how to get around only based on what I'm hearing and not being able to see. I chose to give up my smell because, unlike other senses, I think that without my smell, my life would be just the same like it would have been if I could have smelled.
This touch is going to be love because I can hug people and feel their warmth. Hug me. One more. Wait a second. Very important. And what is this? This is going to be surviving because us humans can survive without food. So, after I said this, most of you may think that I'm not going to give up on taste, right? Well, dear ladies and gentlemen, if I had to lose a sense, I would choose to give up on taste. Yes, I know what I said. I know I said surviving, but most of you may have forgotten that we eat to survive, not the other way around. So, by not having taste and not knowing how the food tastes, I can develop something called self-training. The need to eat only when my body said so, only when hunger takes over. I can treat my body respectfully, not eating too much or not eating low.
On the other hand, if you cannot see the ugly, you cannot see the beautiful either. We couldn't see the flowers, we couldn't see the sky, we couldn't see the colors, we couldn't see the sunshine or the faces of the ones we love. But even if we can see them, we very often fail to notice their beauty. And that's because we people cannot really see the good in something until it's gone. We tend to take everything for granted. And if we continue like that, we might never reach happiness. Therefore, being blind might help us understand this world better than seeing can.
Humans have 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. We all know that. Each sense captures a different aspect of reality. Each is a chance to discover the world. But despite the fact that we use them from the moment we are born, we don't seem to be fully aware of the opportunities they offer us. It would be such a pity if we were unable to taste and smell our birthday cake, to hear conversations or listen to music, to see the world around us or to feel the hug of a friend. Wouldn't it? But then, which sense would I give up if I had to? Well, that's really hard, even if it's only a hypothetical question. But what if giving up a sense would be an opportunity to discover the world and ourselves in ways we overlooked before? What if losing the sense of hearing, for example, wouldn't be a terrible misfortune, but an unexpected chance to know more, to live better?
And the best speaker today is Sofia Spătaru. Congrats.
Nu vreau să închei fără să felicit și echipa prezentatorilor, colegii voștri mai mari din liceu, care s-au prezentat. Eu am fost atentă la toate detaliile acestui eveniment și contează foarte mult, deși poate pare un detaliu, dar detaliile fac diferența, cum știți, și s-au prezentat și cu seriozitate, dar și cu căldură în același timp. Foarte frumoasă colaborarea dintre cei mici și cei mari. Și spectatorii și emoțiile sunt grele, dar sunt necesare în devenirea voastră, în maturizarea voastră. Încă o dată felicitări și profesorilor, pentru că ei sunt antrenorii voștri. Tuturor felicitări, a fost o zi iarăși foarte interesantă astăzi. Mulțumesc!
And debate competitions have become a successful recipe for our school, and this is a tradition we would love to continue.
Today, you are going to watch debates prepared by the winners of the previous days, grades 7B and 8B.
The topic of the debate is, people can save nature by using technology.
This leads me on to my main argument, namely renewable energy. A United Nations article gives sunlight and wind as great examples of continuously replenishing energy sources. Solar energy can deliver cooling, heat, electricity, natural lighting, and fuel. Not only is solar energy one of the most affordable forms of electricity, but it's also long-lasting, with a lifespan of roughly 30 years.
A fitting example for this represents the Industrial Revolution, which began in the second half of the 1700s and stretched into the early 1800s. It was a period of enormous technological change in both Europe and America. Whilst, it created economic growth and offered new opportunities, the progress came with significant downsides, from damage to the environment to poor health and safety hazards. This concept was powered by burning coal, and big industrial cities began pumping vast quantities of pollution into the atmosphere of the Earth. Later.
The technological advances have made our lives better and easier. There is no question that our planet is facing numerous issues. For example, the endangerment of animal species, pollution, and climate change. With the use of technology, people have managed to provide solutions to these problems. Recent rural society studies have also highlighted the potential power of digital technologies, such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, to address major societal challenges. These studies identified the conditions needed to support the safe and rapid deployment of technology, the forms of governance of data use needed to create an environment of careful stewardship, and the role of technology in helping address governance and environmental challenges.
The fact that the manufacturing of these technological products has a vastly negative impact on the environment. And this is a consequence of large consumption of energy, and it's highly unsustainable. The increasing use of technology has resulted in a substantial surge in energy consumption. The energy demand is predominantly met by non-renewable sources, such as coal and natural gas, and these are required even in the production of renewable energy sources such as solar panels. This not only consumes a significant amount of energy, but it requires the use of rare earth elements such as cobalt, lithium, and tantalum. Electronics also contain other materials such as plastic, which you may know is derived from fossil fuels. Iron, aluminum, zinc, lead, copper, and tin. And in order to obtain these materials, companies resort to mining, which is a water and energy-intensive activity that leads to deforestation as well as water, soil, and air pollution. It also releases huge quantities of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide into the air, thus massively contributing to global warming.
But drones are being used to drop entire ecosystems from the sky to combat deforestation in undoubtedly the quickest and most efficient approach to plant loss of trees, arguably 10 times faster than manual plantation by humans. Another example of how technology can help replenish natural resources is asteroid mining, the hypothetical exploitation of material from asteroids and other minor planets, including near-Earth objects. This has actually proven to be successful, as asteroid samples have returned from research missions. Numerous things we can do by using technology. For example, she talked about drones, digital mapping, and other innovations that are currently helping the environment, such as the aquatic robot, manta rays, sensors, and some drones that companies have started to use to determine what species are needed and where, and then use the data to reforest, replant, and restore.
Firstly, to save nature, we firstly have to change our behavior, seeing as to provoke any type of change in this world, we must act upon it. Technology, and we ought to start using technology accordingly, in such a way and a manner that benefits the environment, not only us. We have to stop hurting the environment for money. We have to start thinking about the environment, because otherwise it's going to die. The production of tech itself has a very negative impact on nature, as it consumes large amounts of energy and is extremely unsustainable by resorting to mining. Manufacturers purposely produce tech designed to last short periods of time for increased sales. This is something we should abolish. This is
The winners are 8B. Congratulations also to 7B. The score was quite tight. You also had very good facts. You also had very good ideas.
public speaking contest is explain the word love to someone without using the word love.
Now, on another note, a more modern philosopher by the name of Michael Boylan discusses his theory in his book, The Good, the True, and the Beautiful. He states that this feeling is in fact more of an action, a motivation for being good. This goes hand in hand with Plato's belief. So it not only pushes you to find your soulmate, but it also allows one to be good. So is that it? Is it hope? Is it faith? Is that what we're all looking for?
What was once defined by Paulo Coelho as being an untamed force, which when we try to control it, it destroys us. When we try to imprison it, it enslaves us. And when we try to understand it, it leaves us lost and confused. My approach is going to prove that this feeling is the central component of all human societies. Therefore, it can manifest between children, parents, friends, or romantic partners, giving depth to all human relationships.
Blessed are they who see beautiful things in humble places where other people see nothing. This is a quote by Camille Pissarro that illustrates exactly where I think the meaning lies hidden. For me, it's the fabric of daily life, the precious little moments I share with the people I care most about that are full of significance. This feeling that maybe words can't do enough justice to reveals itself in each one of those moments, and every time it has a different face.
I don't know how to become one with you. If you're heaven, tell me, I will kneel to every god. If you're hell, then tell me, I shall fill the earth with sin. This is a verse from the poem Union by Abdullah Pasho, and it shows the extreme lengths that one is willing to go for a person they adore. Under the spellbinding influence of passionate feelings, people can act erratically, sometimes doing things they never even thought they would do, although they're doing it willingly. This quote right here shows exactly how devotion can impact a person and how it can make them take unspeakable actions for a person or another.
As we start trying to fill that gap between ourselves and others, we learn how to appreciate things that resemble us. Then loneliness ends when one finds comfort in other people through admiration. While for the most part, this sentiment brings happiness, due to its undeniable complexity, it also has an unpleasant side. It can be heartbreaking. It can hurt your body and soul, carving injuries that never fully heal. It's a feeling of affection and care that every person is bestowed with. This concept has been at the core of humanity since forever and is one of the most fundamental aspects of our existence.
I think that if we try hard enough, we can find it anywhere and everywhere in our life. I believe that it has many forms. First and foremost, this emotion should be found within ourselves. If we cannot find it within and towards ourselves, we will never be able to share it with the others. The same way we show compassion to our own being, the same we're going to show it in our relationships with the others. This emotion can bring people together, or it can bring people back to life. It can give you purpose or that spark in your eyes that you always need.
If I were to compare the word love to anything in the world, it would be magic. Why, you may ask? Well, it's because as much as we try to define it, it loses some of its mystery. All these relationships have something in common. Respect, compassion, empathy, but most of all trust. The trust to jump, fall, and pray to never hit the ground. So if I must define the word love, I would say it's giving someone your heart, knowing that they're going to cherish it forever. I would say that love is giving someone the power to destroy you and trusting they won't use it. But if not even the best philosophers of the world were able to define it, who am I to even try? Thank you.
A man who displayed such passion is Kobe Bryant. He started playing basketball at 3 years old, and throughout his career, he managed to show the world the determination you need to have in order to reach the top. Eventually, all this hard work and devotion would shape him into one of the best offensive players of the NBA. And even though he passed away, his legacy will live on forever to inspire other people. My final point is that I advise you to invest in your dreams and passions, because life is full of opportunities and nothing can stop you from doing what you truly love. Thank you.
Another valuable thing that affection is based on is loyalty. And I think here the best example is the movie Hachiko. This dog had waited for 9 years for his dead owner. He used to go every single day to the same train station where his owner used to come back from work, and he never lost hope until he died. Now, this emotion is everywhere. This small puzzle piece keeps us all together. And without it, we would probably not be able to gracefully live and raise above mere existence. There is a bit in every single one of us, and if you take all of them and unite them, we would create this single piece which completes the puzzle of this world. This thing is the reason why our society works the way it does. Yes, you probably guessed it. This piece right here represents love. And thank God.
As I'm looking around, I can clearly see 3 things about everyone here. Some of you are bored, others tired, and a couple may even feel frustrated that they have to listen to another speech. And that's completely understandable. In fact, that exact clump of emotion is what I felt when I tried to define and explain this emotion that I hope everyone here felt at least once during their lives, where we have to define it ourselves for our specific life, for who we are as a person. There is no single explanation. There is no single definition. It's something each and every single one of us has to define and explain for themselves. Unfortunately, there is no easy way out. Thank you for your attention.
This entity is conventionally considered blind, which I find fairly irrelevant, for as in its presence you are provided with an astounding sense of clarity. Although it's true that to the inexperienced eye, it can be dazzling, time eventually endows you with a somewhat protective lens to prevent you from following elusive pursuits. Whilst I see it rather as a close relative of freedom, available to all forms of conscious beings. It isn't a duty or an ideal, but a gift, a privilege of the inescapable perspective you are assigned at birth, the opportunity to connect with the world around you. I am bound to believe that my definition isn't universal. But all things considered, the easiest way to put it is a grounding feeling of belonging. And whether or not you choose to see it as the result of some chemical reactions or the sum of affection, romance, friendship, lust, and so forth, you could still agree that it is the quintessential function of life to which our minds only serve as variables. Thank you.
Millions of songs and poems have been written about it, about the pain or euphoria it brings, about its complexity, about its side effects. Though professionals tried to explain this phenomenon, no one did it better than the poets, as the metaphor is the only unit of measurement for this experience. What is interesting about the puzzle I was mentioning earlier is that once it gets assembled, the mind goes beyond the lines between the pieces and we get to see the end result as a whole. This commonly happens between people who have this feeling for each other. It is said that these people end up being similar in habits, behavior, and thinking, becoming a singular and complex human being.
This can be the reason that we decide to wake up in the morning and strive to be better for ourselves or for the people around us. Everyone has a different type of expressing this emotion. An example being the mother that decides to wake up early in the morning to cook a meal for her child, or a pet owner that decides to deprive themselves of something that they might need in order to pay for the medical bills of their cat. For you to fully understand what it is, you have to fully embrace it and offer it to the people around you, and just as important, to yourself. Everyone shows their affection in a different kind of way, and that's what truly makes this emotion interesting.
How would one define the one feeling that bonds all living beings together? Well, to begin with, we can acknowledge the fact that it's no easy thing to do. Some of the greatest minds to ever live have tried to define it through songs, poems, and even scientific formulas. That's how humanity has got its cultural masterpieces that we study in school, we see in museums, or we read about in history books. However, the truth is that each person has their own definition in mind, based primarily on personal experience. Now, even though people are different, and thus they have different opinions, many of them can agree on the fact that it's an emotional bond which goes beyond words or actions, but that can be expressed through gestures of kindness, empathy, and compassion, inspiring feelings of warmth, affection, and deep connection towards someone or something. It can also be understood as a force that drives social and political change. It can inspire collective action and a sense of shared purpose and motivate individuals and communities towards working together for a common goal.
I have asked my dearest friends to describe its meaning, and here are some of their answers. Cranberry juice, extra tight hugs, you, butterflies, when I let you sleep on my shoulder even though I can't feel my arm anymore, wanting to crawl inside someone's ribcage, mimosas for brunch, sitting with someone on the floor, peeling an orange for someone, braiding a boy's hair, kissing someone's forehead, sunsets, heartbreak, caring for someone on purpose, violet perfume, oxytocin, the universe creating cute pigs, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and gift-giving, taking a bug outside instead of killing it. It is to be changed, just like a kid's favorite toy that used to be so fluffy and pretty, but now is missing an eye. It's not even the same color anymore, but still gets the most kisses at bedtime.
I know its powers. I know it's manipulative. When it has controlled me, however, it has not placed me in any danger. It has not caused me any harm. Its powers can be so beautiful yet so vile. I've seen people go bankrupt pursuing it. I've learned about this power through songs of many people. All the way from Michael Jackson to the metalheads at Metallica, they all sing about its power, how it can control us, make us different human beings. Yet nobody mentions its name. No further shall I go and ask questions about it, trying to help you realize which feeling it is. I'll ask you right now, right here, what is its name? What's it called?
Congratulations. And now, for the first place, we have...
We have actually two first places, but the first one is Adriana Munteanu.
Still holding her trophy. Last year's champion.
Okay, so the second first place, Victor Dinu.
Which is still a first place. Congratulations, Victor. We don't...
I'd like to wrap this event up by restating that speech is power. If you can speak, you can influence. And if you can influence, you can change lives. And I hope you'll do it for the better. I hope your words will become actions. And I hope your actions will inspire others to dream, to study, to do, and to become more.